What's up, guys? Welcome to Talk to Me or whatever. You have Young Juan, you have JK, and our special guest is Vanessa who's coming straight from España. How y'all doing out there?
Woohoo!
Good, we're good. Hanging out.
What's
I heard
happening?
you
I
said it
like
was
the view you
raining out
had in
there.
the. Oh, go
Mm.
ahead.
For the link. All I need to
What?
do is just put it that
So
to the
you said
direct
it's raining
container.
out there?
Just
So
leave it
it's
open.
cloudy. It rained a few days ago, but it rains quite a bit here and it's pretty cloudy most
Yeah.
days.
So
So
what's it like
So just
being a third
leave
person
it
in
like that.
Spain? Like, what's it like? Tell us what you're experiencing. What do you feel when you're out there? Do you like feel alive? Do you feel like you belong? What's going on?
So before.
I feel a little bit like an outsider because I feel like a lot of
Oh, it
people
wasn't. It wasn't even the same.
who I
Oh,
like communicate with on like a daily basis, like they know that I'm American, so they like kind of, make sure that they like ask me questions like, oh, like have you ate this before or do you have this in the like United States? But at the same time, like everyone's really welcoming, so like it's very like, nice and like everyone's sweet. I haven't really ran into anyone that's like mean. So I mean, everyone's pretty chill, like the day-to-day bases are pretty calm. So yeah, it's like a nice chill vibe.
What's
I was asking
up?
earlier.
What about your Spanish?
Oh,
What about what?
Your Spanish, have you have to use it out there a lot?
Okay, so that's been an interesting experience because since I work at a school, they don't want the kids to know that I speak Spanish. So all I do is speak English and I have to pretend that I don't know any Spanish because they say that which is it makes sense, but that if the kids find out that I speak Spanish and I know Spanish, they're just gonna want to talk to me in Spanish and it doesn't force them to talk in English and practice that English that they're learning. And I currently
Okay.
live with a family, so I don't have like my own place or anything. I live with a family, and she has the husband and wife have two kids, a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old, and it's the same situation. Like she wants them to practice their English so the kids don't know that I understand Spanish and I speak Spanish. So I haven't used my Spanish too much since I've been here, but the little bit that I have, I think it's improved like a little bit, but like very slight. and and everyone who I've talked to in Spanish says that I actually speak pretty good Spanish. So there's that.
way to represent. That's awesome. What's that in
Yeah.
the background?
So this is called the aqueduct, and it's pretty much a wall that the Romans built back in the day.
I wonder if that was
And
like used to. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. What was that?
I was like, I wonder if they used that to like put like archers on top of it or something. Like, what do they do with that? That's amazing.
So it's just like a monument
Transport
at this
water.
point. So
Yeah.
it was like a dam. So back in like Roman times or whatever, it was a dam. So all those like holes and stuff weren't there because then like the water would get through. So I don't know like what brought on all of these like different types of like holes that they have after like so many years. But then now it's just more of like a place to like visit. So I currently live in a small city called Segovia, and it's about an hour away from Madrid, the capital. And people come to Segovia, it's one to like get away from the main city, but to visit the aqueduct. There's also a castle here, and there's a really big cathedral that's like super pretty. Very, it's like elaborate and it's like insane, crazy. So
Sounds crazy. I mean, I want to get into like you like on your road to get like to Spain,
yeah,
but I don't want to like jump too far ahead. I kind of like want to like know like your career, like your educational career, because
yeah,
you went straight from like high school into like I know you're at the ASU for a bit. I'm pretty sure you went to
yeah.
other places like that. But what made you want to choose that route? Is there any kind of like did you speak to somebody that made you want to go down the route? What made you choose education for your path?
So I've always really loved working with kids, and I really loved seeing how their mind works and just like watching them like figure things out. And I am pretty good with like the younger ones, so I always wanted to work with the younger kids. And it's just like, and then it's like never a dull moment with them. Like they can say one thing out of the blue, and you're literally like, what? Like, where did that come from? And like, what just happened? So it's just always been like an interesting thing. And I've always been pretty good with kids, like my brother JJ can tell you. And so education has kind of always been like a thing for me. So yeah, after high school, I went straight to ASU, and I actually graduated with a family and human development degree, which is a lot of people's first thing they think of is a social work. But I didn't want to be a social worker because it's just so emotionally hard, and I'm like a pretty emotional person. So I was just like, I just can't do that. So I kind of jumped around a lot from like being a nanny to like being a director in an after school program to working at a nonprofit for kids. So it kind of, jumped around a little bit before settling on anything. And then I also used to work at a preschool. So, and I really liked working at the preschool in Phoenix. Um, then I have always just really wanted to travel more. So like besides like education, like the other thing that I've always really wanted to do was travel. And so we never really traveled very much as kids. We went to Mexico to go visit family, but that was probably like the furthest we've gone besides like California to go to like Disneyland. So, um, and then as I got older, it just kind of became more and more like, oh, I want to see more of the world. I want to see more of the world. And so I started to like travel a little bit in the US. So I like, went to Seattle, and then I went to like New Orleans, and I went to Virginia, and Wichita, Kansas, which are like so random cities, but there was people living there for the most part that I went to go visit, and that's how I saw like most of this stuff. Um, then I got to a point where I was like, well, I see, everywhere like Italy and Spain and Rome and like, Ireland and Scotland and all these places. And I was like, I really want to go one day. I really want to go one day. So one of my coworkers at the preschool did this program of teaching English abroad. And I was like, I really want to do that. So I got the information from her, and I just looked into it. I got her points of view and whether or not she liked it, and she loved it. And I started to do a little more research on it. And it took a little bit to get started. But like once I got started, I was like, yeah, no, it's happening. Because there was at least like maybe a couple years where I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And then nothing happened. And a lot of that was just kind of more on me. I think I wasn't quite ready yet. And then finally I was like, okay, I either need to do this now or I'm never going to do this. And the one question that helped determine was whether or not I was going to regret it. If I was going to regret it, I needed to do it like now. And if I wasn't going to, then I mean, I can continue saying I'm going to do it and then just like never do it. But it really bothered me if I was like, I would regret this. So it kind of like lit a fire, and it just kind of continued. And finally, I got like the ball rolling on it and started doing the paperwork and everything, and asking the program that I went with questions, and they were really extremely helpful. And now I'm here. So it's like kind of been a long time coming. It's kind of been like a work in progress for a few years. But yeah, like I made it. I did it.
That's
So
crazy. That's probably the problem with most people is that they're scared to pull the trigger or they're scared to try something.
it
I mean,
is,
that's
yeah.
awesome. You actually did it, and I mean, you look super happy. I mean, that's awesome. Because like most people,
Yeah.
like I said, they're scared to try something,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
mean, like
cool.
I was scared for a while. I think that was part of I could have done it like a couple years ago and got it started, but there is a lot of like factors involved that you really have to like really consider. And I was using those as excuses of like why I wasn't able to do it that year. And then finally I was just like, yeah, I don't know. It does kind of help when people are like, so I heard you were going to Spain. Are you still going? Like, it kind of lights something under you, like saying like, dang, like I keep telling people I'm going to do this and then I haven't done it. So like, then you kind of start really looking at yourself and being like, okay, am I really going to do this? Or am I just like kind of all talk? So you do have to kind of look inward and kind of really ask yourself, is this something you really want to do? And then depending on whatever it is that you want to do, my situation was, if I don't do this, am I going to regret it? Am I going to be one of those people that are like, yeah, I had the opportunity and I just never took it? So yeah.
One thing was I took away was like your affection for kids and like wanting to learn and pick their brains and stuff like that. That's interesting to know. Like, when did you find out that you had that I guess that ambition or that kind of like experience that you had?
um I mean, like I said, like I kind of always had like, I've always been pretty good with kids. And it definitely was until you start thinking about like, what are you going to do after high school? like, what do you want to do after high school? You know, people are like, I don't know, I want to work. I don't know, I want to go to college. And then for me, it was no question that I wanted to go to college. And then once you choose, like, this is the path that I want to do, you do have to, I mean, it's college, you have to choose something that you want to do. So I think it's kind of always been in the background for me. But I think it wasn't until like high school and then getting into college and figuring out what I really wanted to do that was really like, oh, well, I'm really good at this and this really interests me. So I'm going to go this path. So like
I know,
I really like psychology. So I did graduate with a family and human development degree. And I think at some point I would like to go back to school and get my master's in psychology, preferably children's psychology. So because like I said, like I like watching their mind work. I like watching like what's going through their mind as they're trying to figure it out. You know, when is it for them to say, okay, I need help? Or watching them frustrations happen and then you're being able there to like guide them and help them being like, it's okay to be frustrated. It's fine. There's a certain way to act though about it, but like let's work through this and let's figure out like what we can do to help with that. You know, and it just I feel like, you know, we get more of that, it turns in, you know, we get better human beings. So
no, that makes sense. That's huge right there. Another thing you said is at least traveling domestically within the U.S. What was your biggest memory, your biggest takeaway when you traveled within the U.S.? Like Wichita, you said New Orleans, all kinds of places. Like what stands
yeah.
out to you?
So I thought New Orleans was really a place that was just like very cultured. And like New Orleans, they still use, instead of like districts, they use the word parish, which is the only state and city in the United States that uses parishes, which comes from France. So like them still keeping that is just like still like just amazes me. And like when you go and visit New Orleans, you can feel the culture there. You can feel like how everything is there, and it's just like food is amazing, the buildings are amazing, architecture is amazing, people, I mean, I ran into like great people and stuff, so it was really cool. We went for my best friend's 30th birthday, that's where she wanted to go, and I was like, I'm down. So um once I think once I kind of got to New Orleans, I was like, okay, like this has been a whole new place, have no idea where to go, what to do. I'm with friends, so that's nice. And so we can all like, you know, decide together and stuff. That was cool. But yeah, it was more of like, oh, okay, like this is a thing. Like, you know, people traveling, you hear people like, oh yeah, I travel all the time and people going to all these different places and you know, you're like, oh, I really want to do that, but you just kind of stay in your own little comfort zone. And then when you actually do it, you're like, oh, okay, this isn't bad. I can do this. I can be on this flight. It's not that long. It's a quick flight compared to other flights. You know, it's not bad. And then I went to Virginia to go visit an aunt. And once I went to Virginia is probably the furthest I've been. And once I went there, I was like, okay, like I can do this. I'm able to like get through the airport. I'm able to get onto my connecting flight with no problem, you know, get the sense of like how it works in the airports and then fly from my connecting flight to home, like not home base, but you know, where the destination.
I thought it freeze on my end.
I think it froze on her end.
That stuff. Can you hear me?
You cut off, so I have no idea what that other half was.
Can you hear me now? Can
Yeah,
you
I
hear me
can
now?
hear. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, so I was saying pretty much is I'm going to be asking the question that everybody wants to know aside from you living in Spain and your travels, but also just having to not call to say hi to your godson, you know, and that kind of stuff.
Sheriff, he's over here.
Whatever.
Uh,
You may not be there, but I call mommy and he's there watching your child. So we, you know, I
sorry that
definitely say hi
sorry
to
that I,
him.
sorry that I do death's work. Okay, I apologize. I'm over here trying to make the world a little bit of a better place. It's a little bit cleaner.
You
Ask
chose to do
you
dead
can
work.
you can ask Shamu because he worked with me.
I mean, I pretty much
but
just no, I was kidding.
He's all leave me out of it.
but the
This
number
is between siblings.
one but the number one question that I think all of us want to know is what is your favorite part of as of right now just living in Spain? What's the best experience that you've had that you've wanted to talk about and consistently keep talking about it? Like what's the hype? Like I want to know.
Um,
We all want
so
to know.
so I haven't quite done it yet, but I will be doing it next week. But I would say like the best part about being in Spain right now is how close and cheap everything is. So I'm going to Paris next weekend to go see Pitbull in concert. No, not to
It's
brag,
it's it's
but
that close. It's that close. You can just like, oh, I'm gonna drive an hour out there to
so
to
Paris,
to Paris
Paris
so
is
that way I can go watch it.
Paris is a 2 hour flight away from Spain, from Madrid.
And the tickets are that cheap that you can be like,
The
you know what, I'm
tickets
gonna Paris
I
today.
paid, if I would have got it a little bit earlier, it would have been a lot cheaper. But so the other interesting thing about Spain is that they get paid once a month here,
What?
which makes budgeting kind of hard when you get paid when you're used to getting paid every 2 weeks. So
I would imagine because that
uh
would drive me a little
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That's
So
stunning.
it's insane. So I mean, if I would have, so knowing like knowing that now, and planning a little bit better of my flight to Paris, my flight to Paris would have been a lot cheaper, but because of that situation and trying to like adjust to it and everything, I had to get it a little bit later. But my round trip from uh from Madrid to Paris and Paris to Madrid, it was about 150, I would say. I think
150,000? Like
no, $150.
what?
Yeah,
Wow. And it's like you didn't even have to, if you would have gotten it earlier, it would have been even cheaper, but
it would have
150 for
been,
being last
yeah,
minute is huge.
yeah. So I got my ticket
That's really crazy.
I got my tickets like a week ago. I got my pay like a week ago, and that's when I bought my ticket, and it was about 150, probably a little closer to $200, but that was for round trip. If I would have gotten it probably like beginning of January, mid January, it would probably be around $100. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Okay.
and it's only a 2 hour trip.
Go figure. Damn.
Yeah, it's like a 2 hour flight. I'm there. I get in. I leave Thursday night and get in Thursday night, and then I'm there for 3 full days: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The concert's on Sunday, and then I leave Monday morning.
Okay.
So, so it's a pretty decent trip. The hotel was pretty cheap. I think for like like 4 nights. I think in like 5 days or something like that. I paid like 215 for like my hostel. So
Okay.
yeah, and like and then I'm actually planning on a couple other trips because in April there is a week of school that we have off for like a holiday. It's like I think it's supposed to be like right before like around Easter or something. And we get like a week off school. And so I'll be hopefully, well, it's like a week and a half, sorry, it's a week and a half. And so I will be hopefully be going to Portugal for at least half
Oh
of that
shit.
time.
Damn.
Yeah. And Portugal's like right there, so it's like even
Okay.
closer. So I'll be going to probably Portugal, and then Italy is the other one. And if I can fit it in, it might be just be a short, quick trip. But if I can fit it in, it'll be probably London as well. So, and right now, Portugal's like a one way is like maybe $35, $40 for just like a one way.
Jeez. That's
And
crazy though. But you get to see all
yeah,
that stuff for the low one. I mean,
yeah,
hell yeah,
everything.
shit, take all that
It's
in.
it's crazy. Like, I mean, I've been told that like once you get to Europe, everything is so conveniently close. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until, and I was like, yeah, 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 that makes sense. Like, everything's like relatively in the same area. So, but it's not until like I got here where it was like, holy shit, like everything is like really close. It's so crazy. So I would say that is
Uh,
probably like the biggest.
so yeah,
Hi.
talking about food, your food, like what is the food difference from over there and over here? And what do you
So,
miss? And
oh my gosh. So there, so like the food here is definitely different. It's so funny because I've had this conversation with like the mom that I like with the family that I live with, because she cooks a lot, and she's always asking like, do you have this in the US? And do you have this in the US? And my main like comment that I've always told her is like, so we have the same ingredients. It's just prepared differently is what makes it different. So um
What?
but so like they use potatoes, they use tomatoes, they use like all of those like vegetables and meats and everything like that. It's just like the way they mix it together is like different. So like like cocido, like today we had cocido. And usually you think of like the meat with the potatoes and the carrots and like a bunch of vegetables, and then like that's pretty much, and then like your broth, right? At least like from what I'm used to eating. And here it's like a mixture of like fideo and cocido together. So it's like the noodles of like a fideo, and then you have like the meat, and then the it's like carrots and potatoes, and then like the broth. So like I don't know if that's like just how she makes it, or if that's like how they make it here. I mean, she says it's a very well-known dish here in Spain. So I'm like, okay, so I think that's kind of, it's like similar but like kind of different. And then they don't uh they don't have like tortillas here, and like they technically do have them here, but when I was at like when we were talking and I was explaining to her like a burrito, she kind of looked at
Yeah.
me like, what?
Time
And I was
out,
like,
time
yeah,
out,
you,
time out. That's very disrespectful. How do they not have tortillas? What type of shit is
That's
that,
what I'm
bro?
thinking myself.
What the
no,
I mean,
like,
I was thinking it, and I'm pretty sure everyone else was thinking it. Like, bro, are you serious? Like, what?
yeah, no, so they like have tortillas, but it's definitely not like the kind that we're like used to. And it's like one of those it's like, like in a very like white brand like tortilla. And I was explaining to her as I had to show her a picture, and she's like, "Oh yeah, 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 we do have those." She's like, "You guys call those tortillas?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, okay. I don't know what they call them here." But she was like, "Oh yeah, like I've seen them before. Like we just don't eat them or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, like well, it's very well known in Arizona." So like yeah. And the other thing is like they don't do spice here. So like
What?
What?
when you like ask for something spicy, it's like not spicy. And sauces aren't really a thing either.
What?
So like you have your ketchup, but that's like for the most like they have it in the store, but like it's not like it's not used very common here. So when I was like saying like, "Oh yeah, like buffalo sauce." She was like, "What is buffalo sauce?" And I looked at her like, "You don't know what buffalo sauce is?"
What do you
So
put on your
like
steak? They don't have A1 sauce?
no. No. So
So we're talking about the not having spices or sauces, right?
yes, yes, he knows because I was like, one thing that I asked him in my care package was to put buffalo sauce in there.
Buffalo sauce.
Note for everybody who wants to participate in this. Feel free to go ahead and donate to local charity here, so we can go ahead and get Miss King some
Yes,
good, delicious stuff that she can share to the people of Spain from the
yes,
U.S. and show them how great we are.
absolutely,
That,
absolutely.
that's gonna answer the question I had before. I wrote down a question. I was like, what dishes do you miss the most over here? But it's not even dishes, it's condiments. Are you serious?
Yeah, so like, so I live in a smaller city. The city is pretty small, so they don't they don't really have like all night like restaurants. Like
Oh, heck no.
there's like a couple restaurants that are open pretty late, but for the most part, like everything kind of shuts down pretty early. Like, and early is like for early for them is like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, because they eat around like 9. Dinner, they eat dinner around 9. We have dinner around 9 or 10. So yeah, so that's our dinner time. And I've been to a few restaurants, but I haven't been to too many because the mom cooks at home. So I'm like, why am I going to spend money when she cooks at home? So I'm getting home cooked meals. And so but yeah, I feel like they don't have like a lot of late open places, and it's a lot of places that aren't like 24 hours. It's not like there's like a drive through that you can have like 24 hours. Maybe in Madrid there might be more of that, but here in this little small city, like it's not a thing.
So you
And
can't get like McDonald's, Jack in the Box, nothing like that.
no, the only fast food restaurants that I think I've seen so far is a Burger King and a McDonald's.
So what's the McDonald's there? Like what's is it the
It's
same?
Yeah,
Is it different?
because like
so
when you go
they
to other, go ahead, go ahead.
uh-huh.
I
No,
was
no,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
when you go to other parts of the world, like McDonald's sells like fish and they sell spam and they sell like the black burger,
Yeah.
and like New Zealand they
Yeah.
have like a lobster burger. What is there anything that's like gonna be a culture shock in McDonald's over there that you noticed?
I think the only real culture shock. So actually, I was expecting one of the first things I did when I got here was go to McDonald's because I was like, there's a McDonald's like right here. I'm gonna go to McDonald's. There's no
Yo, she's
way.
basic.
And then And then plus, oh yeah, and then plus like they had like a Friends thing going on at the time, and I'm obsessed with Friends, so I was like, I have to go to McDonald's to get this Friends thing. So I went to McDonald's. I was expecting to get like I got a burger, and I was expecting it to taste like a little different, but it all tastes the same. The French fries, the burger, they all taste the same. And I had someone tell me that like all the McDonald's like franchise like fast food restaurants that are like that, chain restaurants that are all like pretty much taste the same. They just add something from their culture or from their where they're from integrated into it. So the only thing that I think was really more of a culture shock at a McDonald's was that coffee is very big here. You can literally not have too much coffee at all. Nobody's going to judge you for having too much coffee. And they like serve coffee like all day at the McDonald's. You can order it with your burger. Like it's not like it would be gross. It's just a thing. Like it's crazy.
I'm
I
thinking
don't know if
like
I want to drink coffee with burger, but
No, I mean I
for
actually
real
did
though.
because I was like I'm not opposed to it. I love coffee and I love McDonald's, so why not? I was like, this is the best combination.
I'm not judging you. Do you, girl? Like, I know I'm cool with that, but I'm always thinking like when you get a burger, you're like you want a soda or something, but never coffee. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it does taste good. I
So
don't know.
I mean
I'm not out there, but
it's not really, yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, it doesn't. I mix things like that together all the time. So it didn't really phase me too much. But the other thing is that like the Coke here, it tastes a little different.
You mean the drink, right?
It has, yeah, yes. Yeah, I've got into some Coke recently. Absolutely. No, like the
But
Coca-Cola, the
you
drink.
forgot to add in the drum set there, young lion. You forgot to add that in there.
Oh,
eh,
That's why I'm so awkward. It's like you mean drugs, and it's like
eh,
yeah, the drugs. It's like, oh yeah, you know.
You should,
yeah, she's like I came all the
you
way to
dad.
Spain just to see Coke.
We do
Yeah,
know
Yeah,
where she's
I
gonna be
went
going next
all the
though. Maybe
way.
Cuba.
If I was trying
so
to
I
get
just
some
didn't
good
want my
cocaine, I think
family
I
to
would have
catch
went
me.
to. If I was trying to get some good cocaine, I probably would have went to like Colombia or something.
For
It's,
real, the
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
source, the
overrated. It's
source.
overrated over there. It's overrated. I'm just playing, but
Overrated.
She's on
I'm
Spain
just
and she's
joking.
just
But
like that's on the next checklist.
No, yeah.
Colombia.
no, but I was saying because I knew that in the America, the Western world, Colombia is also known for their coffee. But I know in the Eastern
Yes,
world, it's more Vietnamese, like
yes.
Vietnam. So is that where the beans are coming from
That's
over
the
there, or does there? Do you even know?
I have no idea. I never paid attention. But their
Or it's just good
coffee is
coffee?
so good
Yeah.
here. So good. It's so strong. It's so much stronger than it is in the US.
what
It's
about
crazy. What
what
about
about
what?
the candy, the Spain candy?
So the Spain candy, they have a lot of like American brand candy and like American brand like chips, but they have a little bit of a different flavor to them. So it's like the Coke. So like the Coke has a little bit of a different flavor. At the end of like the taste, it gives a little bit of like a Coke Zero kind of like vibe.
What?
And
Okay.
yeah, like it's interesting because I mean I've had it and I was like, this is not Coke because like I'm so used to like the Coke in the United States. And I'm not a diet person. Like I don't drink anything diet. and it's giving when I drink when every time I drink it, it gives off a little bit of like a diet Coke kind of taste. So it's like interesting.
That,
Um
that sucks. That really sucks.
everyone is so much more healthier here. Like the food is healthier and they recycle a lot and everyone walks a lot here. So like everyone's just more on like a healthier kick over here. But I don't think it's like it's just I think it's more their own like culture. Like this is just how they are, and not so much of like, oh, I want to be healthier or anything. Like, yeah, they have that mindset. Like, yeah, I want to be healthier, I want to eat healthier. But I also think it's just part of their day-to-day life. Like this is just how they are.
So like, like are some examples? Because I'm going based off of what I saw here Snapchat a while
Yeah.
back. Like, so I saw you guys had a town square, and in the town square, you guys actually did a Zumba class for everyone to jump into or something.
No, so that was just for like an event at the so like when I first like the very next day after the day after I got here. No, no, no. I don't even think it was the next day. I think it was the day that I got here. The day that I got here, she the mom went around and we had to go pick up her daughter at this small village that's like 20 minutes away, which is where I work and where she works. um they have relatives that live in that small village and she was like, I have to go pick up my daughter, do you want to come you want to come with me? And I was like, yeah, sure. So she was like, all right, well, we're gonna walk around just a little bit because I have to go pick up some fruits or whatever. So they have like little stands for fruits. And I was told that if you're gonna get fruit from like these stands, not from like an actual grocery store, because they're just gonna be better. And and she was like, we have to go get some fruit and then you can kind of like see a little bit of the city. And I was like, okay, cool. So she took me to the aqueduct, which is like where we're at right now. And at the time they had an event going on and it was just like these like Zumba instructors like having, if anybody wanted to join in and do Zumba, they could. And you had all these people doing Zumba in like the middle of like the aqueduct. So it was like interesting, but also kind of cool.
It reminds me like of
So
like, like they even say over here like go to the farmer market as opposed to go to grocery because they're more
yes,
pesticide and you go to the farmer market, there's like more natural grown
yeah,
and
it
local farms,
is.
stuff like that. And then
Yeah, they
also
have, sorry.
no,
Go ahead.
you could,
Sorry.
I was just say
Sorry.
like it gives me like the vibe of like of Sawarita or Sarita, depending who you speak to. A
Yeah.
Sawarita where they have very like physical like like they're very like known to like be very like active. So they have
Mhm.
like classes like that. They have Zumbas, they have yoga classes for the whole community. So that's cool. Like you're basically like in a Sawarita, which is far from Madrid, like an hour away from
Kind of,
Madrid and kind of like
yeah.
thinking,
Yeah, I mean, like there was just a one-time event. It hasn't happened since then, but I
oh,
mean, I'm sure that they have like it. I think it was like for like a fundraiser or something. So I'm sure they have more along those lines throughout the year or something. So I haven't really seen it since then, but it's a very small community because it's the city. Like I said, it's pretty
And here I
small.
thought that, yeah, and here I thought that they were like, oh yeah, the whole village is coming out here to, do some salt shakers, and other shit like that,
No,
so that way they can all
mm,
stay healthy. And I was like, that's kind of crazy, but that's kind of cool, making everybody like
no. I mean,
be all
everyone.
physical and stay in shape.
Yeah, I mean, everyone here like all I've done for them like I well one I don't have a car here so I can't drive. But two, like all I do is walk. Everywhere I go is walking. And then I started going to the gym recently, like back in January is when I started. So I technically could walk to my gym. It's like maybe like 40 minutes walking. But
Jesus.
so after being here for like a few months, like it's actually not that bad. um But I take the bus because I'm like, I'm not walking that, especially after working out. My legs are going to be like dead tired. Like, there's no way. So I
You're
actually
gonna
take the bus.
walk 40 minutes to go work out and then walk back. Like that is insane. But maybe you get
Well,
a bike, but I didn't know they had buses. That's cool. I was like, maybe get a
yeah,
bike or something, but like, yeah.
they have like the local community bus, not community, like city buses. And then they have like the big transportation buses to take you from Segovia to Madrid. So the times that I've gone to Madrid, I take one of those buses and it's about like maybe an hour and a half that to take to get there. But but yeah, like everyone like walks here. Like I've like actually lost weight just from walking.
Well, and then on top of that, the better
So
quality of food over there, like it all equals
the better,
their
yeah.
culture.
So
Yeah, their hostile
yeah,
lifestyle.
yeah, yeah. So like honestly, like looking around here, I'm always like, I don't really see anyone overweight here. And if you do really see a person that's more so on the overweight side compared to some of these other people, they're a little bit on like the older elderly side. So, but it's like so insane to me because I'm like, well, I guess that makes sense because all you guys do here is walk and you guys eat better, you guys have better quality of food, like and it makes sense. It's just like insane.
It's
It's a huge
And
culture
amazing to
all
shock.
the
see.
portions are small. And the portions are small.
I mean,
So
that
like
must
if
be
you're
a
getting a cup of
huge
coffee, it's
culture
not like a
shock.
big
So we would have to
I'm
go over there and eat small portions. I would starve. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, so like I would say probably like the biggest portion that I had was like that ramen place that I showed you guys earlier because it's a decent, I mean, it's a normal size bowl from like
You
our
know,
end. We're like, yeah, this is like a normal bowl that you get at ramen. And I like got full off of that for sure. But like anywhere you go, for the most part, like when you order something, it's not, I wouldn't expect like a big like plate.
I
It's
was gonna
it's
say,
it's all in a smaller portions.
did you show everybody on here for that's for the being recorded? Did you show them what it kind of looks like from the outside, or no? Was it just us personally because we're special?
What do you mean from the outside?
So you know how you showed us it earlier when we were all talking,
Oh, I think we
that like
were we
pre-recording?
recording?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait.
I think we were
Yeah,
recording.
No,
we're
we
yeah
were
we're
we were we recording? I
I
thought
was
we weren't
trying
yeah.
to
recording.
put an intro.
I think we were recording.
Oh,
Yeah, I think we were recording. Yeah.
Of
So,
course.
and then like,
If not, you're there right now. You just knock it out real quick.
yeah. So this is like the little like aqueduct area.
Yeah, look at
Oh,
that.
there
It
is
looks
people out
gorgeous.
there. I was like, it looks so dead where she's at. But look at those people.
No, this is the time of everybody being out and about because they just had their siesta. So now they're out and about socializing, walking around.
She's like, I'm about to go grab some coffee.
For real.
I
Yeah.
think there's a churro place around here that I think I might grab.
Dude,
So
you should make like a video, like a vlog of you just walking around the town. Like that would be so interesting. I would watch that.
yeah. I have like a TikTok that I've like posted videos and like pictures of like my time here so far. So yeah. So here
Link
is the
below,
TV
guys. It'll
gas
be below if you guys want to follow along.
aqueduct. I'm trying to see if there's people like taking pictures and stuff, but I'm trying to see if I can show you guys. So right,
Don't do it, man. You have so much to live for.
you guys can't see it, but like right in there
I
is
see it.
where Burger King and McDonald's is. For those of you that would like to know.
Guess.
So yeah.
They have a McDonald's inside of a building as opposed to having its own
Oh, hold
building.
on, I
That's
can't hear you
different.
guys.
Well, I
Say
mean,
that again.
the malls here are kind of like the same thing, technically.
That what?
I didn't hear what he said.
So Rick was saying that the all the fast food joints are in one building instead of them having their own specific building for themselves. And I was
Well, yeah,
just saying that it's kind of like going to the mall.
Like a food court.
kind of. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
at least just in like this area, like that's just like where like the McDonald's and the Burger King is. But I actually like went to Madrid and I went to a mall and it's like basically the same thing. Like a mall is a mall no matter where you go. And we went to the food court and they had like KFC and Popeyes and Dunkin' Donuts and Taco Bell. So I was like, what is this? So I was like, oh my God.
Did you feel at home? Be honest. Did you feel
I
at
did.
home?
I was like, I think I'm okay right now. I was like, I'm okay. I'm fine. So it's like, yeah, I didn't taste really anything from there because we just went to like kind of rest for a little bit and then we went on to walking some more. But yeah, I was just like, oh, I wonder, I'm assuming like they all taste the same. So, but yeah,
You
we'll
have
see.
you have time to try them out and figure it out. To taste them
Yeah.
eventually.
So
Yeah.
you're going to Paris. Where else have you been?
Just Madrid
Where else have
mainly.
you been since
So
Madrid? You're going to Paris.
I'm going to Paris.
What
Italy, Portugal.
So I'm going to Paris, and then in April I'll be going to Portugal and Italy. The only really place that I've been here in Spain so far is Madrid. I go, I don't go every weekend, but I go pretty often, just because Madrid has like it's really big, and there's just so much to like see that doing it in like 1 or 2 days is like not a thing. So, um, so I've gone back
So
like a
what
few
is
times.
so the plan is to explore as much as Europe as you can while you're there and hit as many places as you can, or
Pretty much. I mean, I plan to renew. So the renewal process to renew is actually happened. Like the application process has opened up. So hi dear. So the
Can you hear
application
me?
process. Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good.
You
How
look
are
beautiful
you?
like always.
Oh, thank
We're
you.
so proud of you,
We have
mamas.
another
It's the
special guest.
lighting.
Take
Look at
care. We love
that.
all
Hi,
your
Vanessa.
pictures.
Oh, thanks.
Take care.
Okay.
DJ, no one like. Ew. Just kidding.
So okay, so like the application process just opened up. So I have to reapply pretty much, but because I'm already here and I've done this already, it should be an easier process for me to renew. And then so I'll be placed in a different city. But so that way it gives me more time to explore more, to explore more options. And I don't have to try to cram everything all in one while
Yeah,
I'm here.
because that's what I figured. I figured you'd be out there, might as well like see some stuff, go
Oh
travel a little bit,
yeah.
and then when you,
That was kind of like
I
the
was like,
main
man,
Yeah, that was kind of like the main purpose of me doing this in the first place was so that way I could travel more and see more. So I haven't been able to do too much just because like I was still trying to get like the reins and trying to understand like how things work and like where to go and what to do. Now that I kind of have like a better understanding of that, then it should be a lot easier for me to just be like, yeah, I'm gonna hop on the train and go to Barcelona, which is only like a 3 hour train ride. Like it's not a big deal. And be there for like the weekend and then come back.
What is the most American food you're craving right now?
Canes.
Cane's ketchup? The ketchup, really?
No, Canes.
No,
Canes, a fast
Oh,
food
Cane's. I thought you
chicken.
said it like that.
she
Cane's.
Yeah.
really
Okay, I can
misses
see that.
ketchup, dog. She really misses ketchup, bro.
Oh no, so that's the other interesting here thing is like they love their tomatoes here because like they like put like tomato sauce on like almost everything and like ketchup on like you ask for something and they like give you ketchup with it. It's like interesting.
I just
But
found out, or I heard, I just found out that the reason Italy it wasn't made like it wasn't like first made uh their pasta spaghetti. I
no, the
heard.
Chinese did it. The Chinese invented
Go ahead,
pasta.
go ahead, cook.
The the Chinese invented pasta?
Well, yeah, they invented the pasta, yeah, and they
Yeah.
were trading it, and then they got to like the Middle East, and then they traded it to Italy, and then they added their tomato sauce, and that was born, and that's basically the British spaghetti right there. So I
Yeah.
was like, when you're saying they add tomato to everything, I'm like, well, that's where spaghetti came from, and I love spaghetti personally. I would love to try spaghetti, but I'm pretty sure
Right.
it's good.
No, well, so like their spaghetti is like different because like we have like marinara sauce, which is a type of tomato. It just has like all these like other stuff in it. And they just like it's just like plain tomato sauce here. Like I'm
What?
like, oh yeah, like
The
marinara
order is no
sauce, and
spicy?
they're like, yeah, well they're like, oh marinara sauce, and they're like, what is marinara sauce? And I was like, it's a sauce made out of tomatoes that has all these spices in it, and that's how you have spaghetti. And they're like, I don't know. And I was just like, okay, never mind.
That sucks. So they don't have spicy. They don't really do seasoning. Like
Seasoning, yeah. They
that's
don't do spicy. It was so funny. So we went to this restaurant that's like right across the way from where I live, and it's like supposed to be like the most Americanized like food. And so we went and I had ordered a buffalo chicken salad, not salad, sandwich. And they like, how like they like, fry the chicken and then they put it in the buffalo sauce and that's how you eat it. Well, this was just kind of like the sauce was just kind of like on top of it and it wasn't really like dipped in it. And it was still good either way. It was still good either way. And I had asked like if anybody wanted to try it, and some of the family tried it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's really spicy." And I was like, "This is not spicy whatsoever. Like this is not even close to being spicy." And I was like, "You guys don't have spicy here, do you?" And she's like, "No, we really don't." And I was like, "All right, cool,
I
nice
wonder
talk."
what they do like I don't like spicy personally myself, but like in those days where I'm like super congested and I can't breathe, like I feel like I'm drowning because I can't breathe through my nose, I'll
Yeah,
eat a jalapeno or serrano pepper or whatever, and it'll make me cry and it'll get the thing going,
right,
right?
right.
I wonder what they do when they're congested. Like I don't know if they have I guess they probably have like eucalyptus, I'm sure, but like it
Well, they
makes me
have
think,
Vicks. They have Vicks. So I'm assuming like, you just rub some Vicks on like we do and you're like solid. Or you must be like I mean, if you're congested like that, there's a good chance that one, you're sick, or two, you have allergies. So they'll probably just take some allergy medicine or they like take stuff to like make them feel better. I, I mean, I don't know, but this is what I'm assuming.
And then so one other thing I want to see like whenever I go anywhere traveling, I want to see like the local farmers market to like get the food. Like I'm pretty sure the shopping around and just doing things. You've seen so many like just a different things, but one thing that I did see from you is when you went to like I don't know if you were still in that town or if you were somewhere else, I'm not sure, but like walking through like the museums and different churches and stuff like that. I like architecture. Like I want to go to like see like Asia to see like those weird looking rooftops that do like little swirls in the end of it. Like
Yeah.
and then you have like stuff that's built like in the Roman time era, like and the
Yeah.
construction's there. Like I can imagine like the hallways being super narrow and super short. So like just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like what blows
Yeah.
like
So like I think compared to like the US, everything is like smaller here. So the house that we live in, it's like an apartment. And it's actually a two-story apartment. And it's only because the family bought the second floor and then they like remodel it. They remodeled it to where it to connect the both the bottom and top, they just connected stairs. They put a staircase. So, but that's not typical in in Spain. And they don't really have like houses. They're all they're all apartments. And it's like single floor apartments for the most part, and people just kind of like live that way. And
Now, if I were to like travel there, do they have like Airbnb? And like, what are like the price ranges for that? If you were to say like you didn't, if you weren't fortunate enough to find a family, if you had to pay for like a apartment, do you know pricing for that? Just to get like a rough idea, maybe.
yeah, so like I said, for the most part, everything is pretty like apartment based here. There's not really any like houses. And before I was with the family, I was looking at apartments to like get an idea of like what I was gonna have to pay rent for and stuff like that. Sorry, there's a ambulance coming by.
You can't even hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear it either.
They like go through the aqueduct.
Let me see. Show me.
I don't know if I can get it in time. I don't think I got it.
Oh wow.
Sorry. Um, but they like go like right through the aqueduct or whatever. Because the hospital is like it's like over here. It's like over here somewhere. Um, but so from my understanding is that prices here are actually going up, even though it's not for me, I don't consider it expensive because the United States is expensive. So here it's just like, oh my God, you guys think this is expensive? Like, wait till you go to the US. Like, the US is like extremely expensive. So, but according to the mom, from my understanding, is that prices have gone up. And that means that also like apartment, like renting a place has gone up as well, or even buying a place has gone up. But I was looking at like apartments that you could either rent like a whole apartment to yourself, or you can like rent a room out and you essentially have roommates. And renting a room was like $250. Like, well, 250 euros, which is roughly around 250 in American. But I mean, that's not including utilities, but even like the utilities, they said the most expensive is your heat. So like water is like nothing. And, you know, gas, I guess this is more expensive because it has heat or whatever, but it's because it gets cold here for like most of the year. So, um, so yeah, so I mean, it doesn't seem too bad like at all. Like I was like, there was like one bedroom apartments for like 600 euros. So it's like not too bad, but you also have to consider like they don't get paid very much here either. So it is a lot when you don't get paid very much, especially since you only get paid once a month as well.
Yeah,
I
that's what
think
I kind
that's
of
the
figured.
craziest
Oh,
thing.
That what?
That's the craziest thing to get paid once a month. Like that's
Yeah,
insane.
I would say that was probably one of the most like biggest culture shocks that I've had here was the fact that like everyone gets paid like once a month here. Because for a second I
yeah.
thought like, okay, is it just because I'm in this program? And she's like, no, we all get paid once a month here. And I was like, what?
And then that kind of makes sense why everyone like kind of like walks a lot because like paying for gas can get pretty pricey. Maybe make it'd be insurance. If you had to like get a loan for a car, is that the thing over there? I'm pretty sure, especially once a month, like it kind of makes sense to like, I'll just take the
Yeah,
trolley when I need it. I'll just take this when I need it. But
right. Yeah. So like I think it's pretty like getting a car here, I think it's pretty similar to the US. Like, you know, you take out a loan and then you have to pay it back and, you know, and payments and stuff like that. But the payments are just so much lower than it is in the US. But considering the fact that you get paid once a month here and depending on what your profession is, will depend on how much you actually get paid. So not a lot of people like make a lot of money, you know, it could be it could get like pretty tight.
so I'm
So
thinking like
I
managing it, like getting like a business here, like automated over here on this side, and then going to live over there. You would be killing it, living like a boss over
oh
there. But
there's yeah, no, so like I've actually looked into like working remotely and so I would make money over there and
get paid every 2 weeks.
still in there. Like here I'd be like, oh, I'm making it right. Like, cause it's just lost you guys.
I was like,
Mhm.
hopefully I recorded that. If not, it's not. But we're down to the last minute. I just wanted to wrap it with any final thoughts anybody had before I kick us out of here.
You guys have any other questions?
Not
yeah,
really. I mean,
is
if you
there a
want to
part
go ahead
three?
and plug your TikTok and any social medias, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I have TikTok. It's I don't remember what my username. I think it's like
Just send the link.
Vanessa.
We'll put it. Yeah, we'll put it in.
Okay, I'll send
Yeah,
it.
we'll
I'll
put
send it
the
to you
link at
guys.
the bottom. Everybody, if
I'll
you have questions for her, comment on her TikToks or put a comment. She'll go through them so that way she can answer any questions that you guys might have.
yeah. Bye.